Hi, Caspar, on the 9th of May 2022, and I've got a fascinating wine here. It's dry white wine, and so far so straightforward, but really exciting, principally for three regions. One, country origin; two, grape variety; and number three, state of maturity. So what have we got? We got a 2016 wine from Georgia in the Caucasus, not Georgia, the US state. And a grape variety I really hadn't encountered before until I went to a Georgian tasting the other day in London. So the grape variety, as far as I can, well, it's on the label. It's spelt Tsoliakauri. In Jancis Robinson's Wine Grapes book, it's called Tsoliakauri, and the producer is Chateau Askana. Really smart packaging. You can probably see that. Looks very good. And alcohol wise, very small writing. In fact, I'm not even sure that writing is legal at that size, but 13%. So fascinating to find well, always fascinating to try Georgian wines, but one of this age in dry white is fairly interesting, and it's still really pale in colour, and it's got a faint, very faintly sort of coppery tint to its almost sort of peachy tint to its pale gold colour. I mean, it looks healthy. It doesn't look like there's a problem with it whatsoever. Ah, God, that nose is an absolute fascination. I suspect some of those aromas come from the bottle age. So it's citrus and it's stone fruit principally. It's apricot, peach, apricot, more than peach, spice, and then there's a sort of a grapefruit, underlying grapefruit firmness with that spice coming through, and it's rich, you know, it's a full experience. I wouldn't say it's a fully aromatic grape variety, but I would say that it's got a density of aromas that really make their presence felt. It smells completely delicious. You could almost, with this set of aromas, think it might be a sweet wine when you're smelling it. There's perhaps a herbal note as well. Well, as the nose, so the palate really. It's got real heft, real density of fruit, and again, fruit on the palate is introduced. Actually, there is that stone fruit aspect, but it introduces more in the way of orchard fruit, apple, but particularly quince actually. And I thought that when I first opened it, and funnily enough, reading in Wine Grapes, Jancis Robinson. Extraordinary tome that she wrote with her friends, outlining so many of the world's grape varieties. She also says that it's said to taste of quince, and I definitely find that in there. But through that lovely, dense, ripe, summery orchard fruit comes the acidity, which is nicely balanced and very much, it reminds me of pink grapefruit actually. In fact, there's perhaps even a slight flavour of pink grapefruit, but that acidity particularly is on mild, not very intrusive, but quite mild grapefruit. Clearly it's a mature wine, but in a really good place. It's got heft, it's got length, it's got freshness, it never gets too heavy. Wow, you know, for an introduction to this grape variety, mature Georgian dry white wine, that's something really spectacular, I've got to say, and that would grace the tables of pretty much any house in the world, I must say. It's fantastic. I'd probably want to drink it with food, despite that relatively moderate alcohol. You know, it's got such presence, both of the nose and the palate. I'd want to have it with food, and you know, something like creamy chicken dish, or that, you know, that kind of thing, with some sort of high acid cheese, it would be really interesting as well. So fascinating, really fascinating. Actually, a 3-year-old Gouda would be a very interesting match to that. Could well work. Um, so what is that? Well, I'm looking at. How can I have to look at the label again because it's so relatively unfamiliar. I mean, 2016, so simple, yeah. But Tsoliakauri, um, from Chateau Askana in Georgia. Just a really fabulous wine. I love finding wines like this, completely unexpected gems. And yeah, long may they continue. It's just fascinating and delicious.